you say all sorts of nonsense to yourself just to try and keep you on the sort of straight and narrow. And it's very sad. It really is. The freedom to be yourself, that is the biggest gift anyone can give anybody, you know, and this is what I'm trying to do with these podcasts and my book.
Welcome to a new episode of Most Memorable Journeys. My guest today is a lady who thinks that she knows what's normal. No, that's totally wrong. She is an entrepreneur and she wrote a book which is called My Kind of Normal. And I really, really want to talk about normal in this podcast episode. Welcome to Most Memorable Journeys, Despo Pavlou.
Thank you so much, Elisabeth. It's such an honor and privilege to be here, and I really appreciate you inviting me to your show.
It's a pleasure from my side. And I want to show you that people can't see us, but I've been trying to read this book and it's called The Myth of Normal. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's by Gabor Mate. It's very thick and it's very small print. And I'm not a good reader anymore since all this social media stuff. And I spend, I'm glued to my phone. But normal, Despo. So what is normal? Let's get right in there.
Let's do it. Let's dissect that
what's
word.
Normal?
You know, the reality is, Elisabeth, that normal for you is different, is not my normal. And everyone has their own normal. And the book I've written, My Kind of Normal, is exactly that. This is my normal. And what is my normal? In my life, in this life, I am a gay woman, mother of 4, entrepreneur, author, and yeah, the list carries on. But my point is, how diverse are those things I've just mentioned? I was married to a man because I didn't want to accept my tendencies, my sexual orientation, and kept pressing that down. And eventually, you can't fight that for very long. That came out. So, yes, I'm part of the proudly gay community. Those are opposite ends of the spectrum. But that's my normal. That's how my life unfolded.
And I fully and utterly respect your normal. And that's basically what we should do. Now, I want to go back. To the time when you noticed that you were not normal, as we call it. When was that? When did you realize that you don't like boys?
The reality is, you always know, Elisabeth, from my earliest memory, I always had it's not to say that I didn't like boys. I feared them. I didn't really know how to act with them. I didn't know how to be with them. I was far more easier with women. And definitely during school, you have your little crushes and whatever. And, I was very confused because they were crushes on girls. And of course, when I went to university, that really started coming out quite strongly, but I didn't understand it. You must remember that this was what was 1987. In 1987, I knew of no gays. They were not on television. I had no friends. We didn't know them. They didn't exist. So I felt really like something was not normal with me, as you put it. And so I started rejecting these feelings and I started suppressing them and I refused to accept it. I did not want anything to do with it. And I did meet my husband and at university, and I did love him. It was a tender love. And, we had a very acrimonious marriage, but 4 beautiful children came from it. And obviously because, we weren't compatible. And after the divorce, I just couldn't hold it back anymore. I couldn't hide it anymore. The feelings became too strong. But you always know, Elisabeth. You always know.
But isn't it very, very difficult? I mean, 4 children. How long were you married?
I think I was married for about 12, 13 years. We had 4 children in 6 years. It was very much, he's Catholic. I can't even blame.
You must have a TV.
We had a TV. I can't even blame the fact that he was Catholic. I actually wanted 4 kids, I'm
only joking, but
yes.
It must have been hard, though, to know. I mean, isn't it like against your core, really, let's just, say it,
Yes, say
to
it.
have sex with a man if you knew that you didn't want to have sex with a man?
For me, it felt, to be honest, for me, it felt like it wasn't horrible. It wasn't, really, it wasn't terrible. And he certainly, I couldn't compare him to like a woman. I mean, once I was with a woman, there's no turning back from that. I mean, for me,
yeah,
you can understand that.
yeah.
And because I didn't know better, I just thought, well, this is it. This is what it's like. And you often hear women complaining about, sex with their husbands or whatever. And oh my God. And, there is that little conversation that happens with married couples sometimes. And I just thought, well, okay, this seems to be the thing for, most people. And then I realized, no, actually, this isn't right. Because there are women that actually are very comfortable and very happy with men, and that's their normal, and that's brilliant. But for me, yes, it wasn't as fun as it is with a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that. And when you say that, when you actually were with a woman, it was like kind of coming home, wasn't it? It was like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The mind is a powerful thing, Elisabeth, and you say all sorts of nonsense to yourself just to try and keep you on the sort of straight and narrow. And it's very sad. It really is. The freedom to be yourself, that is the biggest gift anyone can give anybody, and this is what I'm trying to do with these podcasts and my book. There's so many young Cypriots who have gay tendencies and are gay. And we need to give them the love and support that they need to be themselves. And they need to be respected for who they are. Because living this double life, and this is what I'm finding, that these youngsters are living double lives, and it's terrible. That and this is what I did for a long time. And it's sad because what happens is you hurt people along the way. You hurt yourself, you hurt your family, you hurt so many people. Whereas if you can just be honest, if you're just brave enough and courageous enough to be honest and have those difficult conversations, yes, I'm not painting a beautiful picture here. It's going to be rough, especially in Cyprus still. You are going to have difficult conversations and it's going to be unpleasant, but you will get through it. It was the same for me and my mom. When she found out, there was a lot of crying and fighting and screaming and hugging and making up and crying some more. And those conversations need to be had. And that's the only way. We change policy and we change people's minds. And I'm very tired of hearing from the government here in Cyprus that Cypriots are not ready for this. Make them ready. Make them ready.
Rubbish. But what you're saying about, young people, it's traumatizing, I think, to have to live this double life or to have to pretend that everything is fine or that they are what they are. And I totally agree with you. But to be honest, why is it so important to judge a person by their sexual orientation? A person is so many things, so many different things. A person is a character. He or she has a job. They have I don't know, they like sports, they do this. And it all boils down to that one thing. Why?
That is such a beautiful point you've just made. When I was in South Africa, I was a principal of my real estate company, and I had a couple of offices, inland and coastal. So I was quite a dynamic entrepreneur, and I was a powerful businesswoman. And over and above that, I had my 4 children. And one of my agents was trying to describe to her client who I was in the community. And the client turned around and said, "Oh, the gay woman." And she told me about the story. And I said, why is that the first place he went to? Why could he not have said, oh, the businesswoman or the mother of 4 or anything else? Why was that the first thing that came to his mind? And that's immediately how he recognized me. So is it because it's so taboo? Is it because it's so out there that, I don't know. It's honestly, we've got to work that.
Definitely, because we were talking before we started recording, and because I'm from Switzerland, and I was saying in Switzerland it's old news. It's gone, it's normal.
Boring.
But here it's still a big deal, and I think the church has a lot to do with it.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more, Elizabeth. The church is exactly it. And I've always said, church, religion, and politics should never mix. They should just never mix. It's two different categories of phases in everybody's lives that should never cross. And that's just the reality. What did we have? We actually had an archbishop as the president or prime minister of the country, as the leader of Cyprus. So, they're still staunch. I'm an Orthodox myself, but I believe in a church that doesn't believe in me. And, we can't mix the two. People are often concerned about what happens to me when I die because I'm gay, I'm going to hell and all of that. But the reality is nobody. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. And I have a great relationship with my God, and that's personal anyway.
Oh, just made a note here. Two things now here. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that there are programs by the church as far as to actually make gay people, to heal them, to make them normal. Is that true? Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, of course I have. It's called, what's it called? I've actually forgotten the name of it now.
There is an expression for it. Yeah.
There is. And to be honest, up until last year, I think it was 2024, 2023, it was as recent as that. The Cyprus government abolished that. But as recently as that, it's called conversion therapy.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Conversion therapy. So, yes, very much a practice, and not only in Cyprus, but it was in South Africa. I remember when I had my first relationship with a woman, and she also, it was taboo for her family, for her to be gay as well. And her family did send her to conversion therapy. And she was spoken to by a minister. And he said to her, you will go to hell. And they put her through shock therapy. And I mean, you cannot believe the damage that does to someone. And that's one of the saddest things I've ever had to just live with.
Yeah. Now, where in the Bible does it say that gay people go to hell?
Well, we've had millions of these conversations, and no one has ever been able to pinpoint it. But the reality is also it's a form of interpretation. How you read the Bible is not how I interpret it. You know what I mean?
A lot of rubbish,
But again,
the Bible was written by people anyway. The Bible wasn't written by God or by Jesus or by who knows. And the Bible was written, when it was changed 10 times because it was written by hand, and it's stories. And in my opinion, history means his story, the way he says his story, and like you said.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth, what is the Bible? It's a book of love. And if there's love in something, you cannot be judging people. You cannot be sending them to hell. You cannot be, first of all, you're not God. So don't try and take the position of what's going to happen to me when I die. Let me worry about it.
Fine. I think I'm pretty sure that when you die, you're going to be fine, Despo.
And so will all gays.
Yes. And me too, I hope, even though I'm not gay, but
you will be fine too, Elisabeth.
I think so.
You do a lot of good work. It's wonderful to see.
Anyway, what I want to talk about is when you told your parents, because that I have friends here who have gay children, and it's amazing the reactions that they get. What happened when you told your parents, or how did they find out?
Well, this was the thing. I was with a woman, and someone saw something, picked up the phone, and told my mom about it. And she called my father. I do. To this day, I have it as one of the worst days, if not the worst day of my life. And he arrived. My father, we lost him in 2007 to cancer. He was the most mild-mannered, calm, never lost his temper, gentleman, and he absolutely adored me. I was his oldest daughter, I was his oldest child, and he was very proud of me. And when this came out, he was absolutely gutted. He was angry. He was furious. I'd never seen such rage in any person before. And my mother was just absolutely heartbroken, just wept. And it was as if they had just heard the worst possible news about me. Like, if you could consider the worst news a parent could ever hear, that was it for them. And I tried to, speak to them about it. But no, it didn't. There was no conversation after that. And there was no conversation with me and my father after that about this till the day he died, which was a pity, because that's how we were fine. We recovered and worked on the relationship, him and I, because we were always close. But there was always this between us. And my mom, just so proud of her, because also a staunch Orthodox, like my father, who had this mentality, village mentality, because she came from a village, moved to South Africa, had to work through her religious beliefs and everything she had known about this, and had to change it and work with me to try and understand me. And now she's my biggest supporter. She's honestly just fantastic. And it hasn't been easy for her, she speaks about it to her friends and that. But the day they found out, it was horrific. It was a horrible experience.
I can imagine. And the problem about all these things is that what they didn't worry that the problem is not you and what you are, it's what other people think.
That was it exactly.
What are people going to say? That is, and this is, I think we spend so much time of our lives and so much energy about what other people think about us. And we should really get to the point. And I think that helps with age, to actually stop giving a shit about what other people think, because what we think is important.
That's it too. My father and mother were very embarrassed of the fact that their daughter was gay, and certainly what would the Greek community in South Africa think about this? And this was, but it made them so upset that, and I've said the story before. I don't want to say I killed my father and I put him in his grave, but I certainly, his health deteriorated after that significantly. And, to feel something so strongly where you lose your health, I mean, that we've got to work on this.
But don't you think that you would have lost your health and you would have had a problem if you had continued living this lie?
I certainly was losing my health.
Yes.
And my sanity.
Yes, I can imagine. So what about the kids? How old were the kids when you came out?
So the kids were, I was 32. So what is that? The youngest, well, obviously the youngest was brand new. The oldest was, so they were very young. I think the oldest was 6. The youngest was brand new, 4 and 2 in the in-between ones. Yeah.
And they were all born in South Africa, right?
Yes.
And then are you all here? Did everybody move to Cyprus?
Yes. Well, three quarters of them. So the youngest son and my daughter, who's the third one, they came to South Africa the same time I did, almost 4 years ago. And the oldest one, he's going to move here now. He came here for a holiday and he's just sold everything up in South Africa, and he's moving here now in November. And then my second one, he's just finishing his studies. He's busy with his master's, and he wants to do his doctorate in paleontology, I think. These scientific terms are always a little bit far-fetching for moms, but
I'm afraid I don't know what that is, but
yes. It's animals that existed millions of years ago, the study of animals, yes. And so he's planning to come as well. So yes, we're all going to end up in Cyprus.
Now,
which is lovely.
How about your relationship with your ex-husband? Are you in touch? Are the kids?
Yes. Yes, we're in touch. Well, you always are when you have kids, and it's a very nice relationship now. It's always nice catching up with him and having a chat and, getting his news and whatever. We speak, we don't speak every single day, we don't speak every single month, but when we do, it's always a nice catch up.
And that's very civilized. That is a very
Yes, it's
civilized
lovely.
situation. Yes,
Oh,
and
yes.
that's exactly how it should be.
100%. I can't say it always was like that, but we've certainly done well getting to
Look,
this
but
point.
it wouldn't have always been like that even if you weren't gay. So
Exactly, yes. No, I think we've done a nice normal route, a natural route, and it's going well. It's lovely. We're in a very healthy place, both
So
of us.
this is how it all came about. You came out, you lived your truth, and
Yes.
you're kind of normal. You moved to Cyprus. Now, Cyprus is another story. And for the people who are listening to us, because I have a lot of people abroad who listen to my podcast, we are a little bit behind in modern times, and being gay in Cyprus is not so much accepted yet as it would be in I don't know, in the UK or in Switzerland or in Germany. And Despo lives in Paphos, which makes it even, in Nicosia, in the capital, maybe it's easier. Limassol is quite very cosmopolitan. So, but Paphos, Despo, how is that going for you?
Elisabeth, quite well. I'll be 55 in January. No, I'm already 55. I'll be 56 in January.
You're in denial.
And you know what I am? I'm over giving a shit about what everybody thinks. I'm a very open person. I speak openly. And I want to be like this because I want to be approachable to anyone who ever wants to ask me anything. And I do have people saying, oh, but how do you do this? And what happened here? And I express, my views, and I tell them my experiences, because it's in sharing stories that we create this environment of accepting each other and understanding each other and changing minds and policies. So I'm a very open person, and those who want to be my friend are, and those who don't. And I can't say I've lost people in my life, although, I find myself alone in Cyprus, so maybe I have. I just haven't realized it.
There is a saying, I don't know who said it, I don't know where I got it from, but I know it's true. And it says that your story could be somebody else's survival guide. So it is very important that we talk about things, because everybody has a story. Everybody has said something. And when you tell your story, you can recognize somebody else. You can notice somebody nodding because they have gone through exactly the same thing, but maybe they haven't had the courage to speak about it.
Elisabeth, when that is why I also wrote the book. The book was born because I went through a couple of personal struggles in 2017. I was engaged to my best friend of 20 years, and we were together for about 12 years and engaged for two years. And I had some issues with the business, and it impacted on the relationship. And sadly, the relationship didn't make it. But this encouraged me to start putting my thoughts and my feelings on paper, and this is how the book was born. And this book is exactly that. Like, I wanted to be someone's courage. If I had this book when I was 18, I probably would have gone a different route. When I was 18, I was looking for something gay, something to see if I could fit in, but I couldn't see anything. There was nothing. So that's why this book is here, because if it can just be someone's Bible, this makes sense to me. I feel those feelings. I have those fears. Immediately you feel part of something, a community, a group, or whatever it is. And then you're braver to take that first step. So yes, very much what you're saying. Exactly true.
And I think also for somebody who would like to understand it, because there are some people who I cannot understand why are people like, but maybe reading a book like that would help them.
Again, what's been amazing with my kind of normal is that my buyers have not just been the LGBT community. I've actually had gentlemen buy it who are straight. a Russian gentleman, a German gentleman. I've had these buyers, and I keep thinking, why? And it's because of that, because they want to understand. Because in this book, you learn about blended families. You learn about the fears and the highs and the lows of this couple, which is just like any other couple. What we faced as a couple, every couple face. You face with your husband every day, And you will get that understanding by reading My Kind of Normal. You will actually feel, you will cry with the book, you will laugh with the book, and you will face all the emotions that you face in your straight life.
Your book is in English, but don't you think it would be a good idea to translate this book into Greek?
Yes, Paul Lumby, who you met at the diaspora when we were there together in May, he was kind enough to introduce me to a publisher in Nicosia. If I recall correctly, I think his name is Charis. And Charis and I did do a bit of backwards and forwards communication regarding that. Yeah, it seems like because it's an LGBTQ themed book, in terms of, just money, pluses and minuses and profits and whatever, he's not sure that it's quite the market for Cyprus, but I'm still working on it. We're still knocking on doors. He has said to me, I really need an author who backs her product. And I've been doing that. Our social media campaign has been going quite well. The numbers are growing. The book is selling internationally. So hopefully, him and I can sort of pick up where we left off and get it, because there is a big demand. Whoever picks up the book, they all ask for it in Greek.
Yeah, and people don't only speak Greek in Cyprus, they also speak Greek in Greece, which is a much bigger, would be a much bigger number.
And then look at our sister in Greece. I mean, in terms of their laws, I believe it's not quite the same in their streets, but in terms of their laws, gay marriages are legal. Cyprus needs to catch up to that. Regardless of what happens on the street, leave that to the gay community, but at least get the laws to protect us.
Yeah, that's something I want, because I'm not familiar. So here in Cyprus, there are no gay marriages. They're not.
It's only civil unions that are accepted, but no gay marriages are recognized. So there is a big discrepancy between civil unions and gay marriages, because people say, "Oh, but we've got civil unions, take it." But the idea, young couples want to get married and want to adopt children or have children together, and they want to do that under their marriage umbrella. So that's the thing. It doesn't just go towards marriage. You've got to expand your laws to embrace the family union, the family structure, because two moms can be moms to children, two fathers. We've got to expand our thinking about this. And it doesn't just stop at the marriage. We must allow them to have their families like a young couple would, any young couple would.
Oh, absolutely. And I also think that, children, I don't think children care if they are brought up by two women or by two men, or what children need is love.
Children only need love and support. If they've got that, and it doesn't matter where from, as long as they've got that, they'll be okay. You look at the families in South Africa. Most of the families in South Africa are not as we know them, mother, father. There's been in the past the great AIDS epidemic, which wiped away a lot of the family normal structure. So grandmothers are raising children, or grandfathers are raising children, or just uncles are raising children, or two aunties are raising children. So it's exactly what you've said. Everyone's family is different. And again, this is what we say about the word normal. What's your normal? What's my normal? It's completely different.
It's very true. And I personally would love to state that I'm totally not normal and I don't care. So
proudly not normal.
Proudly not normal, because normal people are very boring. But that's a different story. Now we're coming to the end. We're already half an hour through. I want you to tell me, first of all, where can people buy the book?
So online, my publishers, Austin McCauley, have done a fantastic job about, getting it sort of visible. If you type in My Kind of Normal online on Google search, it comes up. It's or just my name, Despo Pavlou. It comes up. It's every single book platform and online store has got My Kind of Normal going for it. Alternatively, I don't know if I can, leave my telephone number and people can contact me and I can send them a signed copy. We can also do something like that, or an email address, or actually just my Instagram.
Yeah, because I
Yes.
wouldn't put your phone number in I don't like to give out people's phone numbers that have
Yes.
bad experience. Your Instagram handle we will put in. And
Yes. Okay.
I'll find a link where people can.
Yes.
I do show notes. There will be show notes at the end, and they can see it in there. Would you also be willing to speak to somebody? Would you be willing to speak to a mother who has a son or a daughter who are gay and who is maybe a little desperate? Would you do that?
Oh, very much so.
Because I can see that in with what you've done and what you are doing and with the book and everything, I think that would be this is your calling. This is what you need to do.
Well, it's lovely for you to say that. I actually had I've had a couple of those conversations, and it's absolutely beautiful what comes out of it, because if a mother or father wants to understand their child and they're coming from a place of love, they will get it. They will get it, because my story is real. My story is real. I faced the difficult. I faced the depths of it. And, the book has already, and I have already, we've had serious conversations with people. And if that's my calling, wow, how privileged am I to be able to offer comfort to families that are going through this.
Any new books in the making?
There's a second one that I've started writing. So, yeah, that's on its way.
So follow Despo on wherever. I'll put some links in there.
Yes.
And wait for the next book. And I think we're done. Is there anything else that you would have liked to say?
No, just it's been such fun. I can't believe our time's up, but it's been so easy talking to you. Thank you, Elisabeth.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on
All
Most
right.
Incredible Journeys today. Despo Pavlou, thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoy my podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You will find all the information in the show notes.